Dear people of the world, try to live for others. Don't just try to live for yourself. So, meaning to say, you have all the resources to help out other people, to make their lives better. I am not saying that you help out in a big way, but if you can on little ways, because through you, the world is able to see that miracles exist. We will never know the extent of the good things that we're going to be able to do to other people, but then one thing is for sure. They're going to remember you for that good thing that you've done. And that itself is priceless. Hi everyone, I'm Fatima Palma. I'm the nurse rapper, so I share hope.
Welcome to I Share Hope, the podcast where world leaders share their real stories of hope and how you can use actionable hope to start changing your life today. And now, here's your host, Chris Williams.
Hello. How are you?
Hi, how are you? I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing great. It's good to talk to you.
Yeah, same here.
Sorry, I'm traveling this week, so I'm in the hallway next to the elevators of a hotel.
I'll be at home too, so I just woke up.
Oh, really? So, yeah, I'm so sorry. I sent you a Skype message 2 hours ago, and totally my fault. Just forgetting completely what time zone I was in. I'm moving around too much.
Yeah, it's okay. Don't worry about it.
Okay,
as
good.
long as I'm here, and then it's fine.
Yeah, I really appreciate your time doing this. So is it, what is it, 10 a.m.?
It's 10 a.m. here. I don't know about your time though.
6 p.m. my time.
Okay, 6 p.m.
Yeah, but I'm usually on Central Time, so I'm used to, I think it's 8 o'clock p.m. right now, but it's not. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah,
Great.
perfect.
Great. So do you, so you're a full-time nurse. Like, I'm trying to get my head around what you do, because you're so well known for your art, for music, and yet you're doing so much on the nursing side as well.
Yeah.
How does this work? Just hang on. I should ask that question in a minute, because I need to start an interview. I think that'd be even a better question for the interview.
Oh yeah, it works this way. So that's my day job, me being a nurse.
Mm-hmm.
And then right after work, I go ahead and do some music. I'm actually with a band.
Okay.
So I've been a rap artist for a while now. So I've been rapping since 2008. So what happened was, instead of me taking everything to the stage, I actually rap in front of my patients too, just to make them happy.
Yeah.
Just to make it a little different for them.
That's great. That really is great. So you are doing stage performances as well, traditional, like
yes, of
going out with the band. And so, wow. Where do y'all play? I mean, what venues are y'all? I saw the name of the band.
Yeah, we play all over the Philippines.
Okay.
We actually play here in Metro Manila, mostly in the city, but then we also go into different parts of our country here in the Philippines, especially the Mindanao area. So yeah.
That's really cool. It's really impressive. I don't know how you have time for all that. And the bio you sent was awesome. Thank you. Perfect. Exactly what I needed. But it just made me realize how busy you really must be.
It's been really busy for quite some time now. I'm trying to balance it, whenever I have gigs and then I go on duty. I try to balance it out.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense. You're doing a lot. I'm impressed. Thanks for your help. Okay, I'm trying to find a better spot to sit here. Get out of people's ways.
Yeah, it's fine.
Okay.
Just continue.
Okay, so is the feed coming in? Can you hear me okay? Is the audio working, the video working fine? No, it's not.
Sorry, my dog.
Yeah, it just got a little fuzzy, didn't it? I'm going to go back over here. I think my internet's working a little bit over here.
I think the connection is getting,
Okay. All right, is this getting, let's see if it gets a little better now that I'm back over here. Is that a little better?
Sorry, dog is here.
No, that's great. I have dogs too. Okay. So let's get started on this then.
Yeah.
So you got the little sheet that has the interview 101, kind of the things you should be knowing are coming, the questions I'm going to ask, all that stuff.
No, I haven't.
Okay, but you didn't get it?
No, I didn't.
Oh, you did. Good. Okay, just making sure.
Yeah. No, I did not.
Oh,
But
you
it's
did.
okay. Yeah.
Okay. Well, you're going to love this then. This will be fun. So here's how this works. I ask 5
Fun.
questions about hope, and they're the same for every guest we have. And you answer them however you want to answer them. There's no hidden agenda on my part at all. I'm just doing a huge research on hope. That's it.
Okay.
So this will be fun. So let me look at your bio again. I'm going to introduce you on a few of these points, and if I struggle, it's going to purely be with the...
Just don't mention the shows, you know, just it's in Tagalog, but then, you know.
Yeah, I'll just mention that you've been on, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 shows. Wow. 7, 8 almost. And then it says over 100,000 followers in social media. Wow. What platform is that on? Is that Twitter, Facebook? Where are you really known?
No, it's actually on Facebook. It's more on Facebook.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So your Facebook account has 100,000 likes or follows?
Oh, no. I actually have 3 different accounts.
Okay.
Yeah, it's crazy. And then, like, just for the video itself,
Yeah.
it actually had a lot of likes. Like, technically speaking, it went about 500,000 on different sites. So that's accumulated. So
Wow.
it's crazy. I didn't know it's going to get that far. So.
That's really cool. All right, so do you want me to tell me the name here? Do you go by Fatima, Maria? What do you go by?
I just go by Fatima.
Fatima, okay.
Fatima's
Okay. Fatima is the right way. Fatima or Fatima? Say it the right way. I want to make sure I pronounce it right.
It's Fatima.
Fatima, okay. Sai lets me call her Sai. She says everybody does, but so I don't get to practice the Fatima very much. Okay, and so it's Maria Fatima. Is it Palma?
Yeah, you got it.
Okay, Maria Fatima Palma. All right. Make sure there's no other questions I had here. I think that was the last 2. Okay.
Drink water.
Okay, yeah, take your time. This is really informal, so just we'll make it a conversation, and the interview goes as normal. It's pretty laid back. So Maria Fatima Palma. Okay. This is great. We have Maria Fatima Palma with us today. She has something really interesting that if you don't live in the Philippines, you probably wouldn't know about. Maria is a nurse, very accomplished nurse. She has a lot of education. First Miss Associate in Healthcare in 2008. In just a second, I want you to tell me more about that one. The staff nurse for the past 5 years for East Avenue Medical Center. 2 years of surgical and SICU staff nurse. 3 years of medical staff nurse from 2013 to current. Assistant editor-in-chief of several newsletter publications around the area. Now here's the interesting part. This nurse has a YouTube video out there with over 500,000 hits on it. She also has a social media following of over 100,000 people on different platforms. And she's been on 5 or 6, looks like maybe even 7 TV shows because she's a rapper, as in hip-hop rapper. She's very active, not only with her band, but she uses rap in her work. And she goes around the hospital and really does a unique twist on just not the medical care thing, but really cheering people up, bringing a lot of hope and entertaining people and getting them engaged in a way that you just can't usually do when you're a nurse. When I think of nurses, I think of needles and stickers and Band-Aids and not rappers. So, Fatima, thanks for being with us today. I can't wait to hear about you. So tell me a little more about you. You're in the Philippines. Give me a little background, and then we'll ask the 5 questions.
Okay. All right. So hi, everyone. My name is Fatima. So my name is Fatima Palma. So I'm 28 years old. I live here in the Philippines. I've been a government nurse. I work for the public people of the Philippines for the past 5 years. I help out mainly as a nurse and also as a rap artist. So I rap in front of my patients every time that I'm on duty. So I make sure I'm always on duty when I do that. So yeah, basically that's just me.
So you're rapping every time you're on. So were you working last night? Like, did you work a shift yesterday or last night? When?
I worked yesterday, but then when it's too toxic, I try to make sure, I don't do it as often as I can because I try to make sure, the patient's conditions are okay before I do that. I just don't want them, I just don't really want to sing when, it's too toxic. When I wanna make sure I accomplish both at the same time. I get to finish my job as a nurse, and then right after when I'm done, that's the time I start rapping to them when I know the situation is okay. Oh yeah.
That's amazing. And then you're doing this in clubs and on stages and other venues with your band, right? What's your band's name, and how do y'all do? How many shows do y'all do a month or a year?
Yeah. So we are called TUKAR SINATI. So by day I'm a nurse, but then at night I'm a hip hop artist. So we are called TUKAR SINATI. I play in a band. And then Tukar is actually Ilonggo, a dialect in the Philippines, which means sound, and Sinati, experience. So our band is in English called Sound Experience. So we as a band, we try to promote Philippine culture by putting Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao, the three states of the Philippines, all together and using different dialects on our music, just so we can promote that, our cultural and religious differences can be worked in one music, So that's basically it. And we
Music.
perform every time, like mostly on Thursdays and Saturdays. We do that. But then I used to MC too in the club before. So if you know that, yeah, I'm a club MC before. So I was a nurse, and at the same time, that was the only thing that got me going because we weren't really being paid well in the hospital, so I had to work two jobs. So right after I go to the hospital, I go to the club and I MC there too. So yeah.
Amazing. You're really busy, and your medical career is really quite accomplished. I love seeing the list of things you've done. So,
Thank you.
okay, this will be a lot of fun because you totally go against the grain in so many ways, and I love that. It's super fun to talk to somebody who's just way out of the box. So, tell me this then. I'm going to ask the 5 questions, and we ask the same 5 questions to every person we interview. They're about hope and your view of hope. You answer them any way you want to.
Okay.
All right, so question number 1 is your definition or favorite quote about hope or your belief about hope. What does hope mean to you?
What does hope mean to me? There's just not, I think there's no quote that I could just, define myself into. It's just like more on the experience. I guess hope to me is, when you try to be resilient, amidst everything that's happened to you. My life story is actually about that. So technically speaking, it's how I was able to bounce back. Hope to me, I guess, is when you just don't give in right away, and then the next thing you know, something nice happens. I guess that's the way my life was. My life has been a lot of down points. I almost gave up. Like as a nurse, my life as a nurse was extremely hard. It's especially as a Filipino government nurse. First of all, the difference is, we're not technologically updated. Second is that we're compensated very low. And if you're going to ask me the ratio of a nurse against a patient, I hate to say this, but it's 1 against 25. It came to a point 1 is to 50. So every day, if you would ask me, hope to me was trying to work so hard, but then at the end of the day, trying to, accomplish a lot of things. And aside from that, even if I was losing hope, I was able to give back hope to other people by rapping to them. So I guess hope to me was, trying to be happy amidst everything that has happened. Hope to me is finding God in the process. And also hope to me is just basically, being happy. You try to stay happy amidst whatever is going on.
Mm-hmm.
I guess that's what hope means. I mean, finding light eventually when things are getting so dark. I know it might sound cliche, but I guess that to me is hope. When all things are not going your way, you just don't give up on it. You just move forward. You just move forward and upward, and realizing that people actually needs you. So yeah, I guess that's what hope means to me.
That's a great definition. There's so many things there you mentioned. Just not giving up, knowing that something else good can be around the corner. And you mentioned taking care of other people and giving them hope even when you're struggling with hope. You've touched on a lot of categories, and I know we'll clarify more of those as we go, but I love hearing the interviewees, like you, the guests, say their thoughts and their definition of hope when it's not necessarily just a quote out of a book. There's so many great quotes out of books that are out there about hope. They're great. Don't want to knock that, but it's very real. Thank you. All right, question number 2. Who has shared the most hope with you? So you're moving through life and there's been people that have come and gone, some good, some bad. Who's shared the most hope with you?
The most hope that person has shared me is my dad. So my father is the one who's always trying to push me. Could you imagine? So I go home, right? I would always go home so tired, like really tired from work. Like every day I'd tell my dad, I think, Pa, I don't want this job anymore. This is, it's gonna kill me eventually. This is not right anymore. And then every time he's gonna go and tell me, no, it's okay. He would always tell me, you have so much more to give. Every time. And it's like, no, but you don't understand. What if you were on my shoes? You wouldn't like this job anymore. But my dad would always keep on telling me, there's a reason why I'm there. Like every time he would tell me, anak. So anak was like daughter. So anak, you have a reason why you're there. You always have a reason why you're there. God placed you there for a reason. And you don't want to quit on it because it's hard. You just don't give up on something just because it's hard. And my dad would always tell me, let God see, let the people see God in you. Every time you do something, let them see you. And he would always tell me this, that I am very lucky to be able to help other people. Just because he'd tell me, how many jobs in the world do you know actually gets paid? Maybe not too much, but you get paid. But then you get to help out other people too. Right? So he was like, yeah, at the back of my head, yeah. And then he goes and be like, just remember this every time. That's the thing that always kept me going. It's not how much money I make, he told me. It was always it was always about how many lives I've touched at the end of the day. Because when we all go past this earth, he goes and be like, so if they're gonna ask you, are they gonna ask you how much money you make? I'm sure no, right? And then my dad will tell me, but I'm sure they're gonna ask you how many lives you've touched. And then I go and I just keep on playing that to my head every time I go on duty. Because there were days when I totally gave up. Seriously, like I would go to work not feeling happy at all. And then I'd go back home and I'd really cry super hard. Like I've never cried before. Like I felt I was actually tortured. Like it was a mental and a physical torture. Because how can one person take that beating, You're actually mentally stressed, physically stressed, just because of the ratio of the patients against nurses. And you see people dying every day. That's the bad. I think if there's one down point in working in the government is you see people die every day and you try to do your best just to make things work. And apparently you're not God, but you're able to help other people still. But then it just hurts you that you did your best, but still you weren't able to save a person's life. But then again, on the upper end of it, you're able to understand that, like these people you were able to help at the end of the day. My dad was saying like, they're very lucky to have, to have been able to experience a nurse like you. Just imagine that. So every time that's one thing that my dad will tell me, that, that my life should always be about other people, not just me. I'm sorry. But yeah.
What's your dog's name?
It's a pit bull. So.
What's her name?
His name is Ezekiel.
Okay.
So, yeah. I'm sorry if he's there, but I'm gonna try to just put him out. Wait.
Okay, you can go put him out. I'll wait. Waiting on the dog.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
No, you take your time.
Just gonna put it out.
Is he going to want to come back in? I hate to make him leave. He's probably really enjoying the interview.
Somebody just came to that spot. I think he has to go outside. He's already 4 months old, but he's too huge.
Wow, a pit bull. Oh, look at that. Oh my goodness, he's fantastic. He is a big guy. Good grief. He's a huge dog.
Huge. He's only 4 months old.
Whoa.
Yeah, I just had to put him in the carriage.
Okay.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah. So if you ask me, basically my dad is the one who always pushes me together with my mom. And then he'd tell me every day that, I'm lucky. I'm lucky because I'm not the one who's sick, first of all. And second, I get the chance to help people out every day. Not just because it's my birthday, not just because it's a holiday, just because, it's rare, right? People want to help out other people every day in their own way, but they couldn't just because, they're too busy doing it. But if you're given that chance, then might as well grab it. And it's funny how my parents were the one who actually told me what course to take. Like I originally just wanted to take mass communications, but then they were like, no, just try and be a nurse. Just because at that time, how nursing was trending at that time. So it was like, okay, yeah, maybe I should try that.
So you
But
thought,
I loved it. Yeah, but I loved hip hop so much, that at the same time, even if I was going to school, I was still emceeing. So yeah.
so you thought it was actually going to be, you thought nursing was going to be a better job than it was, but then did the economy change? What changed over there?
I think it was right after when they saw my life story. I think, yeah. Because prior to that, nobody knew how the situation of nursing here is in the Philippines. We have a lot of good nurses, but then if you're actually trying to see things here in the Philippines, most of the nurses leave for another country. And people always thought that the reason why they wanted to leave in another country is because they wanted to earn money. Yes, that's true. But then there's also a reason why they would not stay here in the Philippines. It's basically because of, how we were getting paid here, how we were getting treated as nurses. Because being a government nurse is not easy. As I've told you before, just the ratio of a patient to a nurse, 1:25 would actually kill you every day. And it even came to a point I handled 1:50 just because one of my co-nurses would not show up to work. And then we only get paid, what, $250 for an entire month. And then at that time, I was a contractual nurse for 3 years. So could you imagine that? I did not have, I worked the same job as a regular nurse, but then, I was working as a contractual nurse for 3 years. So I was getting overworked and then underpaid. So that's how it is in the Philippines. And here's the thing, even if you get regularized, you're not getting paid as much as you should be getting paid. So, I mean, technically, when you think about it, the situation here in the Philippines before my life story came out was like that. And then when they saw my life story on TV, things started to change. Could you imagine right now the government is actually trying to file a new House bill increasing all of the nurses' salaries here in the Philippines? Yeah, because they tried to make a change because they noticed that, after the life story, they saw everything, but I had to risk it all. Because I remember when I was a contractual nurse, I fought against the management of our hospital. They were in a conference and they were asking us that we are lucky just to have a job, but we weren't getting paid for 3 months. Could you imagine that? Christmas, New Year, and Valentine's at that time. And everybody, you know how everybody's so timid about it. Like nobody wants to speak up, right? Nobody wants to speak up just because, they're afraid that, they're gonna get kicked out of their job, right? So there was this one time they were like, okay, so it's okay since you're gonna get your salary like in a few weeks. I was like, come on now, you've not been paying us for the past 3 months, and you're telling me we're gonna get our salary in the next 3 weeks. So I had to speak up for these people, right? Because nobody would speak up. And then the moment I spoke, like people just started to wake up and started asking questions, which eventually led to getting us paid the same day that I was asking that question. It was crazy, right? And then right after that, but here's the catch. I had to pay for what I did because nobody wanted to speak. From that day forward, for whatever chance I put up and for whatever things that I do just to make myself a regular nurse, it would never happen. They would block my papers, They were trying to do some little politics in there just because they know that, she's a brave girl. She knows something about what we're doing. We can't just like hire her straight up. So it took me 3 years. I almost gave up on my third year actually, if only not for my dad. My dad is actually a politician, but then I would like to see him more as a public servant because that's how I see my dad. My dad would be like, no, this time I'm a labor leader. I can't take you being treated that way. I had to fight for you. So my dad was the one who went to the office and justified why I should be regularized. Because here's the thing, on the past 3 years, I was a contractual nurse. We had regular nurses come in and they were only what, 2 weeks old? Could you imagine that?
So they
Barely unexperienced.
only 2 weeks of experience, and they were putting them
Yeah,
in front of you.
yeah, and they were getting paid like as a regular nurse, and I'm a contractual nurse for 3 years. So that's how the situation in the Philippines is. Like, if you don't have somebody to back you up, then it's not going to push through. And then my dad was like, no, anak, like for the past 3 years, he was like telling me, just stick to your job. Tell me, just stick to your job and trust me, something nice will happen. But then when I was really about to give up on my third year, was like, Dad, I don't want to go back to my job. I'm serious. It's like, no, I'm going to go there. I'm just going to justify things for you. And then next thing you know, like, yeah, a few weeks, they were like, okay, you're already a regular employee. Could you believe that? Like,
And
it's crazy.
do they treat you well now, or do they just kind of still spite you a little bit since you
Right
pushed
after,
them?
yeah, right after that, you know what's funny? I got regularized, but then I was assigned to the most toxic ward. You know how it is. They try to make things harder for
Oh
me, so I
yeah.
that quick. So, but what happened was instead of me giving up quickly, the video came out. Because that's one thing that the management does not know, that I rap in front of my patients.
Okay, so let me ask the third question, because you're totally in the middle of the third question. The third question is, when is a time in your life when you had to really rely on hope to get you through something hard? Is this where you want to go with that, or do you want me to wait for?
Yeah,
Okay, yeah.
exactly.
Well, just keep on cruising, keep going. You're doing great.
So thank you for that.
Yeah,
So,
I shouldn't have even brought up the 5 questions. I should just let you talk, and you can answer them all by yourself.
so there. So it came to a point where I was assigned into the most toxic ward, right? So medicine apparently is the most toxic ward. We get intubated patients for sometimes a maximum of 14, and we're only 3 nurses. Could you imagine that? And I'm used to seeing, a lot of people die. I could tell if they're about to die. That's how I'm used to it. But here's the thing. It was super hard that every time I'd go home, I'd cry. I'd cry myself to sleep, but I would not tell my parents just because I wanted them to, feel happy that I'm okay, right? But then at the back of my head, it was like, no, please stop, God, please, let me find another job, right? So this is the breaking point of my hope, right? Whenever I go there, I ask myself, like, I cry whenever I eat. There was this one time I cried and I was eating just because I missed my dad's birthday. I was trying to catch up on my dad's birthday, and then apparently one of my patients has the same birthday too, right? And then that patient though is dying. I was trying to tell the relatives like, hey, um, Daddy, could you do this? I call my patients like dad and mom, like, hey, Daddy, could you do this? Because it's your birthday. I heard it's your birthday. You have to make it on your birthday, right? So the dad was very cooperative. What I'm trying to get at is, so that patient, I was really focused on him trying to live just because it's his birthday. And I told him that it was my dad's birthday too, right? So he was trying to gasp a lot of air. And then eventually the family was able to celebrate his birthday, thankfully. But then, at the end of the night, around 11 p.m., it was my off already. But then, I had to still attend to him. I was already off duty. But then they were like saying, ma'am, could you do something about my dad? I don't think he's doing well. So I had to attend to him to 1 extra hour, right? Even if I was already off duty, I had to attend to him. And then they were like, so to cut this long story short, like the patient died eventually. And then I was trying to call my dad and tell him I'm going to make it to his birthday, right? And then my dad was so expectant of me trying to go there. But then I had this struggling thing that I had to help that person, right? But then eventually the patient died. And here's the thing. The patient's relatives told me this, that they are so happy that if it weren't for me, my dad would not be able to catch his birthday. They were like, it was because of you, because yesterday you told us that he's not doing well right now, but then you never stopped attending to us. Even there were like a lot of patients that you made sure he'll make it on his birthday. And then here's the bad part. So I was like, okay, but I don't really feel that happy just because he died. But then I felt that, it was genuine, because at least I was able to make him pass through his birthday, right? And then I came back to our house to celebrate my dad's birthday. Lo and behold, I haven't seen any of the food. Like, the party was literally over. And I was crying because, like, at the back of my head, how many times do I have to miss occasions like this? How many sacrifices should I do? Just to get somewhere, just to become stable enough, you know what I'm saying? Just to be happy enough. And then here's the thing. So my dad came down and was like, oh, you better eat. We have some leftover. You should just eat. I was like, no, I just don't really feel like eating. And then I started crying. Like, I started to realize, I missed this occasion, right? Second, I don't have any gift for you. I was able to help out other people, but I was not able to help myself, and not even you. That's how bad I felt, just because, as a kid, I always had birthday gifts to my dad, even if it was that small. But this time, the only thing I was able to give him was just my presence. I know that would have been enough, but it only bluntly shows that, I don't have enough money to sustain myself just to even give my dad a small gift. But then I had to sacrifice myself for other people, So I gave up. That was the time, that was my breaking point, because I started questioning myself, like, how long should I keep on doing this? Should I keep on going home crying, just feeling sad about everything else every time? And like, when will it end? Like, I'm able to help out other people, but I'm not able to help myself, technically speaking. How long must I do this? So yeah, that was my breaking point, basically, that day.
We all have them, and it so often revolves around somebody you love. It really does. I hear that a lot. I'm so sorry. You really are overworked. I think that brings a lot of people. It sounds like you were depressed, and I mean, that really sounds like depression. So, man, your dad was sweet to be so understanding, but what a hard time. Has it gotten any better?
Yeah, it did. Right after that, I'm able to actually bounce back right away, right after the depression thing, because my dad will be happy. Because the next day I still show up at work, trying to be happy and all that, and I still rap to my patients, even if that was the case. It has changed. If you ask me, yeah, it has changed. Right after when the video got viral, like, people started to treat me right, especially the people in the hospital. Aside from that, I was able to put the hip hop community too on a lighter note. You know what I'm saying? Because here, hip hop, unlike in the States, hip hop there in the States is really well known, like I mean, like it's well respected. In here in the Philippines, in the Philippines is trying to get its respect slowly, but not until that day I did that. They were like realizing, yeah, hip hop does, can give hope, huh? It's just not like all about gangster. It was always that note about gangster things, but to me, hip hop was always about, break dancing, emceeing, that it could actually, be something else. Like even before I was a nurse, I used to help out kids too in the gasoline stations. So we had kids who just sells the flowers outside, the street kids, yeah. So we go to the gasoline station and then we help them out. I teach break dancing to those kids when I was younger. So yeah, like technically helping other people to me was already inevitable because I started out at a young age because I saw it from my father. So yeah.
Okay, you're doing it again. See, you're already answering question number 4. Look at you.
Yeah.
All right, no, you're doing great. I think it's fantastic. So to catch people up, question number 4 is, how are you sharing hope today? What are you doing in the community, online, locally there, just being nice to your dog or rapping for patients? It doesn't matter. How are you sharing hope with somebody else or building hope in your own life? And you're already talking about it, but keep going.
Yeah, so it started when I was younger. So yeah, I still help out other people. And then even if I'm not in the hospital, whenever I go out, I try to go to seminars, especially to the nurses, and try to tell them what our job really is about. Like I try to inspire them every day that it's okay. It's okay that even if life is really that hard, you don't have to give up on it. I try to make them realize the things I realized. I share them through seminars. So I go there and I put on a seminar. And then aside from that, until now, I still help out people through music. So whenever I get the chance to, I still do things pro bono, I still rap in front of other people, like not just in the hospital, but also outside. Whenever I'm needed, I go there and I share it to them. And recently on my birthday, so instead of me celebrating it, with relatives, I decided on a random note, like, because I never had any intentions of celebrating it anyway. So I went to the slums in Quezon City. So it's actually a very secluded area. I didn't even know. You know what's funny? It's in an exclusive village. And then when you get right in it, there's actually a squatters area. And I never knew it existed. So my dad was like, you better go to that place and then help them out. So I was like, okay, for my birthday, since I don't have any birthday celebration, I decided to buy a big how do you call this? A huge pot of porridge. Okay, and then I bought, we call this turon. It's like how do you call this? It's like a spring roll, only there's banana inside. So we call that turon here in the Philippines. So I got the pot of porridge, enough for 150 people, and also turon for 150 people. And then instead of celebrating my birthday in a restaurant, I decided to just go out there on a random basis and just give it away to the kids, like a feeding program. And here's the thing, I thought that would actually be enough. That was the first time I felt I was needed more. Because I wish I had more. Like, I could imagine I tried to actually divide the 150 just to make it fit to 200, but then 200 would not be enough. And then the lady there was saying, ma'am, that's not going to be enough. You need more, like around 600 or 700. I was like, oh, okay, because nobody told me. I was like, okay, if I only knew, I would have brought more, right? So yeah, I still help out people that way. And also I go to colleges. So I go to colleges and then they ask me to give a speech on motivation and teamwork. And also aside from that, about hope. I always tell them the value of education. Whenever I go to colleges, I always tell them the value of education and trying to be a light to the world, and just basic, because I actually meet children of different cultures and religion, but then I always tell them this, irregardless of what culture, race, or religion a person has, that is not an excuse not to help that person, because basically you're also human, right? And then I always tell them at the end of the day, you don't want to be remembered just because you live, you know, you live a basic life. You know what I'm saying? Every time that you do something, you do it really well. You don't need a big stage. You know what I'm saying? If you want to help out people, help them genuinely. Because when you do that, at the end of the day, you realize how many things you're grateful for, right? So basically, what I'm trying to say is like, I tell these kids that, maybe someday, you could be a better person than me. Maybe you could change the world. I mean, we cannot change the world's perspective on how to be human, but then you can practice how to be one, right? Because at least at the end of the day, one day you'll never know. You've helped out so many people that one day when you need help, they're going to be the ones to help you eventually too. That's how humanity should work, right? And
You're right.
even if and even if you don't have anything, it's not an excuse not to help, because I believe God gave you so many talents, so many things that you just don't really use, that you have to use. Not just, not just for popularity's sake, no, just because you wanted to show them that God exists, that things exist, like wonderful things exist. And it's going to make the world a better place eventually.
That's awesome. And I think you're actually answering question number 5.
I did not know because I was really able to read everything. So yeah.
Oh, this is great. But it just goes to show how natural you are, or at least how hard you're trying. You're really putting an effort in to make sure hope is a part of your life and a part of the people's lives around you. So beautiful. Question number 5 is, how would you tell me, a person who's trying to grow in hope personally or share more hope, and anybody else who's listening, no matter what circumstance or what location in the world they're in, what would you tell them to do next? Give me like simple 1, 2, or 3 steps of what do I do today? If I want to start growing in hope or sharing hope now, what do I do next?
Okay, if you're gonna ask me like on a 1, 2, 3 basis, I guess first of all you have to be thankful. Because if you're not thankful for what you have, you're never gonna appreciate the beauty of life itself. You have to be thankful about everything. Every time that you wake up, and even if you feel grumpy, you have to wake up being thankful. Basically because you're alive. Second, you have the things that you need, not most of the things that you want, but at least the things that you need, right? Being grateful, as what they say, gratitude offsets attitude, right? Whenever you're thankful for the things that you have, it things become bigger for you. You know what I'm saying? Like even the smallest things that you're thankful for, it becomes a big deal to you. Just because you understand. Sometimes when you have this really bad day, right? At work, you feel really bad, but then you realize at the back of your head, I'm thankful I'm still alive. I could have been the person who was sick, I could have been the person who had an accident today, but look at me, I'm alive. When you're thankful, things become, the smallest things becomes the biggest of the deal. So yeah, and then number 2, if you ask me, you stay happy. You find things that makes you happy. I, for one, always found rapping to be a happy part in my life that I had to share it literally to my patients. Here's what's funny. Every time I rap to my patients, I would never ask them to take a video of it. Not until that one time. Yeah, that was the first time somebody took a video of it. And I told them not to post it because I was scared that the people on the management might know and I might get kicked out of the job, right? So that was the first time. But then, who knew, right? The thing that made me happy the most and made other people happy the most, right, would go viral that way. I never knew it's going to go that way. But yeah, I tried to keep other people happy. I try to keep other people happy. So, staying happy is a good thing. You laugh at your problems too. You just don't suck on it. You laugh at your problems, and you have to admit sometimes that you might be a little stupid on some parts, but then you should laugh about it. Yeah, I think it's acceptance. It's embracing your imperfections. Once you do that, it's gonna be helpful for you. You're gonna be able to laugh at things easily and understanding that life isn't perfect. It was meant to go upwards and downwards, right? But then for most part, you have to learn how to be happy so you can be resilient, right? And I think the last one
Okay,
is you.
let me review real quick. So you said
Yeah,
gratitude beats attitude. What was your phrase? Gratitude what?
attitude offsets attitude.
Gratitude offsets attitude. So first is be thankful. Second, be happy, or just laugh at
Yeah.
yourself. Just enjoy it. Have some fun.
Just enjoy it, and just don't, just don't take a lot of things seriously,
Okay. And then
Just,
number three, then, yeah.
yeah. Number three, I guess, is you have to have I think you have to have faith. Regardless of what religion you have, you find faith. Because I realized, for one thing, I've fallen so many times in my life. The only person I was able to talk to was God and my parents. People who, because if people have faith on you, that's enough for you to move on, right? If one person has that much of a faith in you, that's enough for you to move on. So I think I find faith through God and through my parents. I find I find that, to me, whenever I talk to people, like especially my parents, who are always motivating me, and when I talk to God, it releases a lot of my frustrations, my fears. You just have to give it all to Him, because at the end of the day, I guess we all go back to, where we came from. And I guess if there's one thing that people forget sometimes, is understanding that life is being held, by a greater power. It was just not always about us. You know what I'm saying? It's just not always about our intellect, our knowledge. You have to understand that there's also a greater being somewhere out there. There's a greater being, right? And that greater being, I'd like to recognize it as God, but then, for other people, it could have been something else. But here's the thing, that greater being, for whatever it is, I believe that faith can move mountains. I like to believe so. I my faith, I believe, here's the thing. My faith before was this small. But then every time before I go to work, I would just pray it out, and it just started to grow bigger and bigger. It's just not. Here's the thing. I like to point this out. It's just not also, for whatever it is. I like to believe that we all serve the same God. It's probably just different names. And when your God sees you that you have that enough faith to push through life circumstances, He's gonna give you eventually what you wanted. You just have to ask. And I guess that's what people are missing out on. They try to use their full knowledge and their intellect just to manipulate things around them, but they do not understand that there was always an easy way out to that. You just always have to ask, and you pray, and then you believe, and then things will happen for you. That's the true sign of hope, when you believe in something you do not see. So yeah, technically speaking, we all have different gods, and I like to believe that. But I'm sure all of them, when they see that person have that much faith on something they do not see, they're gonna be given the things they want, and things they do not expect that's gonna happen. So yeah.
You just said the statement about hope. You said because faith is believing in something you don't see, and that, I think, is a pretty good definition for hope too. Believing in something you really can't see yet. All right, so 1, 2, and 3, I've got be thankful, laugh or have fun,
Yeah.
and number 3 then is be a person of faith. Have faith in God, and have faith that there is a higher power. And I'm just going to say, just like you did, that there is a God out there who really has your best at heart and wants you to succeed.
He sees, he sees your heart more than anything else. Like, I think God saw the intention in me. Like, even I think I was put to that test, to whatever happened to me for the past 5 years. I was being put on a test, and I never gave up on it. And then I don't know what happened. Next thing I know, I was just asking Him to give me more strength so I can go on. I always try to say this. Whenever I pray, I always try to say this. that he gives me a bigger heart. Because if he gives me a bigger heart, I'll be able to help more people. I'll be able to see things on a different perspective. You know what I'm saying? I think that is one thing that kept me going, that heart of mine that, wanted to always share, wanted to make other people happy. So yeah. And here's the thing, if you're gonna ask me the last part, here's the last part. Dear people of the world, please try to live for others. Don't just try to live for yourself. You know what I'm saying? Please live for others. Because I think at the end of the day, when we all pass this, because you will never know the the last day of your life. You'll never know that, right? You'll never know that. But what if it is today, right? I am not saying that you help out in a big way, but if you can on little ways, that will be awesome. Like for example, going to the subway and an old lady needs to sit down. Just give that lady the seat. That's already good enough. You live for other people, understanding that that is what life is about. Being able to help. Because you yourself, you're already okay, and other people aren't that okay, right? So meaning to say you have all the resources to help out other people, to make their lives better, right? Because through you, the world is able to see that miracles exist, right? I think if there's one thing that people should lastly remember, is not just to live for themselves. Do not live for the world's sake. Don't live on worldly things. Live on things that can feed your mind mentally and your heart spiritually. And here's the thing, like I'd rather be remembered by people too because of the things I've done for them, not because of the things I gave them. You know what I'm saying? Like for example, just like that, my patient, right? The patient I was rapping to on the video is actually a dying cancer patient. So here's the thing. Eventually he died after a month. But then I rapped to him like 2 weeks before he died. And here's the funny thing. He never moved before I rapped. Before I rapped to him, he never was able to move his body. But then if you're gonna look at the video, he was trying to move his body upwards just to hear me sing. And then I would never understand the extent of the things I did, not until the relative told me that the reason why they posted the video was that was the only time they saw their dad move again. You know what I'm saying? Like they were that happy that at least at some point in their lives they were able to see their dad move again, after what happened. And I was like, you will never understand that this will be back forever in our memories. Because my dad is not going to be able to speak, but then he saw you and he was trying to move his body. If you can see on the video, he's trying to move his body upwards. So what I'm trying to get at is, we will never know the extent of the good things that we're going to be able to do to other people. But then one thing is for sure, they're going to remember you for that good thing that you've done. And that itself is priceless. That itself is priceless, yeah.
Fatima, you've just said incredible things. I am so proud to have you as somebody who's interviewing with this project of 1,000 People of Hope around the world. I think we're allowed to have maybe, I think if my numbers are right, 10 or 12 people from the Philippine Islands.
Awesome.
About every 8 million people on planet Earth gets to have one representative in the survey if we try to stay as pure as we can to world demographics. And I'm thrilled that you're doing this. It's been so inspiring, so inspiring. You're just so positive. Thank you. All right, the last question. Well, this will make you smile again. Don't cry. You're smiling and crying. The last question, I think you might be really good at this question. I ask everybody, it's not one of the 5, but what's your favorite thing to listen to when you need to lift your spirits or just feel more hopeful or positive or laugh? What are you going to turn on?
What am I going to turn on?
Yeah.
Okay, this will be funny. I try to turn on to Lauryn Hill every time. Lauryn Hill, the Fugees, Yeah, I like hip hop a lot. I'm sorry, but yeah, I like Nas. You know, it makes me feel good. Like Nas, Talib Kweli, I like them. I like hip hop per se, but then if you're gonna ask me what I switch on TV, basically it's just HBO. HBO and E, like things that, makes me happy. I don't want to go home at work and try to read out all the news every time. Nah, no. One thing that makes me happy, yeah, aside from the things I listen to, just TV, movies, yeah. Things that makes me happy. My dog, yeah. If you ask me.
The dog that's trying to scratch the door.
Hip hop makes me happy. Like 2G's The Roots, yeah, makes me really happy.
I love it. Oh, okay. You've just done so great. So thank you. I'm gonna cut this out in a second, but when we say thank you, stay with me, okay? Don't hang up yet. But so, Fatima, thank you so much for being with us. It's just phenomenal. You're so much fun.
Thank you. Same to you. I had so much fun too.
I'm glad. All right. So tell me now, where can we find you? I want to put some links on Facebook or Twitter or Pinterest or YouTube. So on the web page, we'll have a picture of you, and then we'll have links where people can find you, connect, ask questions, whatever.
Yeah. They just type it on Google. Actually, it's gonna be there. Just type Fatima Palma.
I've already seen the video on Google. I saw it.
And then it's just gonna pop out there. But yeah, you can reach me through Facebook. I like Facebook just because, they could send me messages there, like personal ones, because I really reply back whenever I can. So I actually could not believe it too. Like people from all over the globe are sending me messages. There's one from Hawaii, from Europe, and also from Japan, and then New Zealand and Australia. And here's the thing, I heard there's one too in New York. So I don't know. They just saw the video randomly and wanted to thank me for doing that. So yeah, it's fun. So yeah, I'd prefer they add me on Facebook or Instagram or whatever site they have.
Which Facebook account?
I'll just type Fatima Palma, so they're gonna find me there.
There's 3 of them.
They could add me on the 3. I don't mind.
Okay. All right.
But then the main fan page is Fatima Palma, the nurse rapper.
Okay.
But you know what? Either ways, as long as they follow me and they wanted me to ask questions, just tell them to feel free to do so. I'll just reply. Don't worry.
Okay. That's great. All right. And let me think. Anything else? Yes.
So Instagram. Yeah, I'm trying to promote my Instagram page.
Okay. How do we find you on Instagram? Is there a certain handle?
It's like Fatima Palma. So yeah. You'll see me as the nurse, the crazy things I do in the hospital. It's going to be fun.
Okay, we'll put it on there. It's really fun. All right, so if there's anybody in the world, not just the Philippines, anybody in the world that we could ask these questions of, and you could hear the answers, who would you want me to ask? Who'd be your favorite person?
I want you to ask my father.
Really?
Yeah, because my father is actually a labor leader. Well, he's the vice governor of a province.
Yeah.
But then he gave up that position. My father's story is really beautiful. If you're gonna ask me, it's one of the. If I could only tell his life story to the world, that would be awesome. So my father started out as a miner, and then he became a bus conductor, and then it started from scratch. From rags to not really being rich, because he's a public servant. But he's the definition of the public servant, not the politician. You know what I'm trying to say? Because even if he's not a vice governor anymore, he still helps out people every day. And it's amazing. It's amazing.
Then let's do it. You think he'll do the, will he do an interview?
Yeah, sure. I'll tell him.
Okay, so I really want to make sure. So your interview and your father's or anybody else in the Philippines, how many people speak English? We've done this whole thing in English. Is that?
Majority of the people in the Philippines speaks English. So yeah, you're not going to have a hard time. And here's the thing. My dad is kind of fluent with it, but it's going to be really funny because his humor level is kind of high. So yeah, you'll enjoy talking to him.
That sounds good.
Just probably enjoy talking to me.
I've loved talking to you. You've been really fun. I told Sai. I was so excited the past week. I was like, this is going to be such a fun interview because you just are such an energetic person. All right.
Yeah, I try. I've been telling Sai, are you sure you really want to talk to me? Chris really wants to talk to me.
Absolutely.
Like, yeah, sure.
Absolutely. You've been perfect. Okay, so last question then for you. I think all the guests on the interviews say their name and then I share hope, or their name, their title, what they're famous for, and then I share hope. So you can introduce yourself. So if I was saying it, I would be like, I'm Chris Williams and I share hope, or I'm Chris Williams, the host of I Share Hope, or I'm Chris Williams, the businessman. You can say however you'd like, but just say your name, something, and then I share hope.
All right. Hi, everyone. I'm Fatima Palma. I'm the nurse rapper, so I share hope.
Perfect. All right, and then here's something I keep watching. So we video all these things, and they're all saved. All the videos are, and we haven't used any videos yet, or any even pictures from the videos. So as I'm watching them back through, usually I just pull the audio out, and then I use the video. I just save it because that's where the whole content of the package is. But I keep looking at the video, and when Skype turns the video from the screen, like right now, you're in the big screen, and then I'm up here in the little corner, right? But when I play it back, Skype puts the two people next to each other. So I don't know if you'll be on my right or my left if I play the video back, but it'll be like a full screen here and here. So I keep thinking there's got to be a way to work with that. And they're right next to each other. There's no line. It's just my video stops and yours starts. So let's high five if we can figure this out, because I think we can high five. Like let's go. I don't know which side is which, so I'm gonna put my hand right on the edge of my screen, like. No, like go sideways, because it's going to look like you're next to me. You're going to be yeah.
Awesome.
All right, so I'm going to go, are you next to, right there. There's mine. Okay, now smile at the camera. All right,
fine.
All right, there's that one. All right, now keep your hand there. I don't know which side you're going to show up on. So
I
keep your,
this one.
All right, I'm going to do it this way, because it might flop. I don't know how Skype does it. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Great. And then swap your hands that way now. To that side. Other side.
Okay. Side?
Yeah, because I don't know. Again, you might be on the other side. Okay, I'm going to do both sides again, okay? All right, 1, 2, 3. Great. All right, now this way. Oh, I got to put your hand back on that side again. Oh, other way.
Yeah.
Other way.
This way?
I think we can figure this out, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, I think that should do it. 1. All right, 1, 2, 3. Okay, I'll send you a picture if I can figure that out. All right, thank you very much. And the only thing I don't have of you yet is a picture that you want to use on our website. Is there a certain promo picture you want, or what's your preference? All right, I'll grab some. I'll pick the one we like. Then there's tons of them out there. And do you have any music that's already professionally mixed that you sell?
Yeah, it's there. It's actually a video. It's not more of a music, but it's in Tagalog. But then we're working on something that's going to be in English.
Doesn't have to be in English. That's okay. So is there somewhere I can? Is it for sale somewhere?
Yeah, you just type it on YouTube. It's called Bitaw. I'll send to you the link on your Skype.
Perfect.
So yeah, it's gonna be there. I'll send to you the link. I just recorded it like 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
And so I'm going to put that link on the show notes page as well.
Yes.
That way people can and hopefully go buy it from you, and you can make some more money on that and share some more hope. And then do you want me to end the interview playing out that song, or just like 15 seconds of it on the way out?
Yeah, just play the video, the viral video. That'll be fun. Okay,
I'll do that. That's what I'll end the video with. Since it's only audio on this thing, so will the viral video make sense? I watched the first. Yeah, it will. It's just music in the background.
Yeah, or you just play something else. Like you can play the other video, not really the viral one. If it's just for audio's sake.
Play the professional mixed one, right? The one you're going to send me a link for. Okay.
I'll send you the link right now.
Good. All right. Awesome. Awesome. Thank you so much.
All right. I hope you had fun, because I had.
I had a great time, and I'll keep in touch, and I'll let you know when the show's going public, and you can share it with whoever. And we'll be sharing it with a bunch of other people too.
Yes, awesome.
Thanks.
I'm actually excited about it too.
I am too. So this thing is now in 15 countries and 8 languages.
Are you serious?
And I promise, I don't do any of it. What we're doing right here, I do the interview, and then Sai helps me. There's somebody else in the Philippines, Sharina, who transcribes all the English into a written text so people can read it on the website. And then we just simply post the audio interview and the written interview on iTunes, and then that's it. And it's in 15 countries now in 8 languages.
Oh, that's crazy.
And I don't know who's doing it, but somebody's out there translating and all kind of stuff. Yeah, isn't that weird?
Wow.
It's kind of
amazing.
It's like your viral video. I have no idea why it works, but it does. Okay, I think that's it. I was thinking, is there anything else?
Speaking of, I was thinking because I had my life story told on a show in the Philippines.
I saw that show as well.
It's been reenacted, and I was thinking, probably I have the copy, but I don't know how to put a subtitle on it.
Yeah.
Just so it'll be more fun. Probably I'll try to do that.
I saw it, and I was that the guy he handed you roses in the hospital bed?
Yeah.
Okay, I saw that, and but I couldn't understand the audio obviously because it was not in English.
We'll try to put a subtitle on it. I'll try to do that.
All right. See you later. Thanks.
See you.
All right. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye.
You've just listened to I Share Hope. If you're ready to make a change, head to our website at isharehope.com and claim your free copy of the Top 10 Actions of Hope from World Leaders to use hope in your own life. Thanks for listening, and we'll talk to you next time.